Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible, non-stop work that's happening inside your body right this second? Well, today we're going to take a tour of one of the most advanced facilities on the entire planet, your body's very own waste management system. Seriously, think of it as the ultimate purification plant, running 24/7 to keep you clean from the inside out. Which brings us to a really important question. And I mean, think about it. Every single thing your body does, from creating energy to repairing a muscle, produces some kind of metabolic waste. And if that junk isn't cleared out and cleared out efficiently, it builds up and becomes, well, toxic. So how does your body tackle this constant, never-ending cleanup job? Before we dive into our own internal hardware, it's pretty cool to see that nature has actually come up with a bunch of different answers to this exact same problem. Turns out, depending on where an animal lives, especially how much water it has around, its strategy for getting rid of waste can be wildly different. So, check this out. There are basically three main game plans, and it's all about this big trade-off between how toxic the waste is and how much water you can afford to lose. First up, you've got ammonotelism. This is what fish and other aquatic animals do. They just release ammonia straight out. Now, ammonia is super toxic, but hey, if you live in water, you can just dilute it. Easy. On the complete opposite end, you've got birds and reptiles with uricotelism. They turn their waste into uric acid, which is basically a paste. It's a genius move to save every single drop of water. And then there's the strategy that we mammals use, ureotelism. Yep, that's us. We're ureotelic. Our bodies take that really nasty ammonia and inside the liver perform this crucial chemical conversion. They turn it into a much, much safer compound called urea. And this urea? This is the main package of trash that our entire excretory system is built to filter out and ship out. All right, so now we know what we're trying to get rid of. Let's start the tour of our own personal filtration plant and meet the incredible hardware that gets it all done. The whole setup is just so elegant and efficient. It all kicks off with those two bean-shaped powerhouses, the kidneys. They do all the heavy lifting, the real filtration work. From there, the waste, which we now call urine, travels down two tubes, the ureters, and collects in the urinary bladder. That's just a holding tank, really. And when it's time, it all exits through the urethra. Seems like a simple plumbing job, right? Well, the real mind-blowing complexity is hidden deep inside the kidneys themselves. To really see where the magic happens, we have to zoom in. I mean, way, way in. Because packed inside each one of your kidneys are millions, literally millions, of these microscopic filtration units called nephrons. Forget the kidney as a whole for a second. These are the real workhorses. Each one is its own tiny, powerful factory, all working together in perfect harmony. So what's actually going on inside these millions of little nephron factories? Well, it's this beautifully precise three-step process that takes blood full of waste and turns it into urine. Let's break down how it all works. Okay, here's the three-step game plan. First up is glomerular filtration. Basically, blood comes in hot, under pressure, and everything small gets squeezed out. The good, the bad, all of it. Step 2 is tubular reabsorption. This is crucial. The body goes back and reclaims all the useful stuff it accidentally pushed out. And finally, step 3, tubulin secretion. Here, the nephron actively grabs any extra waste that didn't get filtered the first time and throws it in with the rest, kind of like a final cleanup before sending it on its way. Let's just hang on that second step for a moment, tubular reabsorption, because it is pure genius. That first filter is like casting a huge net. It catches everything. So this reabsorption step is where the body painstakingly sorts through the catch and pulls back everything it needs: glucose, amino acids, salts. And get this for efficiency. Your kidneys filter about 180 liters of fluid every single day. That's huge! But they're so good at reabsorbing that you only end up producing about 1.5 liters of urine. It's the most amazing recycling program you've ever seen. And here's the thing. This whole complicated process, it's not just about taking out the trash. It all serves a much, much bigger purpose called osmoregulation. It's this delicate balancing act of managing the body's water and salt levels to keep your internal environment perfectly stable. This is called homeostasis. To put it simply, your kidneys are the master chemists in charge of your body's internal ocean. So that begs the question, right? How in the world do the kidneys know exactly how much water to save or how much salt to get rid of? Well, they're not just guessing. They're part of a much larger network, taking direct orders from a sophisticated command and control system run by hormones. You can think of it like a hormonal tug-of-war that's constantly being played to keep your blood pressure just right. On one side of the rope, you have the renin-angiotensin system. When your blood pressure drops, this system yells at the kidneys to save salt and water, which bumps your blood volume and pressure back up. But if the pressure gets too high, the other team jumps in. Your heart itself releases something called atrial natriuretic factor, which tells the kidneys, okay, time to let go of salt and water, bringing the pressure back down. It's a perfect push and pull system. And then there's the MVP of water management, antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short. When you start to get dehydrated, your brain releases ADH. This hormone travels straight to the kidneys and gives them one simple command: conserve water. It makes them reabsorb as much water as they possibly can, which is why your urine gets more concentrated when you haven't had enough to drink. And you really see just how critical ADH is when the system breaks. There's a condition called diabetes insipidus where there's a problem with ADH. Without that constant signal telling the kidneys to hold on to water, they just don't. They flush out massive amounts of dilute urine, sometimes gallons a day, which leads to this vicious cycle of constant thirst and dangerous dehydration. So, this naturally leads us to our last section. What actually happens when this elegant, absolutely vital system starts to break down? And, more importantly, what can we do about it? Well, when kidney function starts to decline, it can cause some really serious issues. You can get uremia, which is when that toxic urea we talked about starts building up in your blood. Or renal calculi, you probably know them as kidney stones, which are these incredibly painful crystals that form from salts. You can also get nephritis, which is an inflammation of those all-important nephrons. And if things get bad enough, all of these can lead to total renal failure, where the kidneys just stop working. Now, it's worth pointing out that while the kidneys are definitely the stars of the show, they do have a supporting cast. Let's not forget, your lungs are constantly getting rid of the waste gas carbon dioxide every time you breathe out, and your skin helps out by getting rid of some salts and urea when you sweat. The whole body is really in on this team effort. But for people who do experience renal failure, we have a modern miracle: dialysis. A dialysis machine is literally an artificial kidney. It does the exact job we've been talking about. It carefully draws blood out of the body, runs it through a special filter to pull out all the waste products and excess water, and then returns the clean, balanced blood to the body. It's truly a life-saving piece of technology. So after our whole tour, it's pretty clear, isn't it? This incredibly complex, silent system is working tirelessly every second of every day to keep your body in perfect balance. It never gets a day off. So the only question left to ask is, now that you know how amazing and vital it is, what will you do to protect it?